Have you been eating what you thought was a pretty healthy diet, only to find out from your doctor that you have diabetes or prediabetes and sky-high cholesterol levels? Not only was this a shock, but now you're labeled as high risk for heart problems and your doctor wants to put you on medicine. But your gut is telling you that there must be another way besides meds that can improve your health, and that's how you came to explore a vegan or plant-based diet. Can eating this way really lower your cholesterol and blood sugars naturally? I'm here to tell you, yes, it can. In this episode, let's look at the 7 top plant-based foods you can eat to help nourish your body and the foods you need to stay away from so you can start turning around your health for good. Welcome to the Plant-Based Eating Made Easy podcast. I'm your host, Anna Zinn, plant-based registered dietitian and transition coach. Hi friend, do you want to regain your health with plant-based eating but feel overwhelmed and lost about how to do it? Do you feel it'll be hard to change your meat-heavy diet and impossible with working, running the home, or chasing after the grandkids? If so, you're in the right place. Here you'll find simple strategies, clear nutrition guidance, and practical tips to help you thrive plant-powered with more energy. So if you're ready to ditch the guesswork and transform your health the stress-free way, cozy up now with a hot cup of tea or listen while you walk, and let me show you how doable plant-based eating can be. Let's do this. Hi friend, before we get started, I know you've been on the struggle bus in terms of trying to figure out how to better your health and life. You're tired of depending on meds and pills, feeling drained of energy, and putting up with medication side effects, not to mention worrying about when that next heart attack will occur. You want to turn around your health and life and even drop a few pounds, but the problem is you don't know where to start or how to start adding more plant-based foods into your meals in a way that is manageable and even enjoyable. Well, I want to support you in this. Your transition to a plant-powered life can be easy and enjoyable, and you can make tasty and flavorful plant-based meals without spending a ton of effort or hours in the kitchen. I'll show you how. When we work together, I'll teach you the right transition strategies, recipes, and tips to guide you so you can have a smooth, seamless transition, even if you've been on a meat-heavy diet all your life or have been relying on processed foods and takeout. Let's turn your health or weight goals into reality. Reach out to me at healthnow@plantnourish.com to find out how I can support you in your plant-based diet transition through the one-to-one coaching packages, or apply for a free rapid health transformation call using the link in the show notes. You don't have to stay where you are, and your life doesn't have to stay where it is. Let's do this together. Now on to today's topic. In our modern world, life is easier in some ways, but harder in other ways. There are microwaves, food processors, and kitchen gadgets to cut down cooking time, but there's also now a flood of information and recipes on the internet, readily available, but which require much time and attention to sift through. There are also many products now on supermarket shelves touting to be vegan or plant-based, but may not be truly healthy for our bodies. So even though manufacturers cleverly hide food products in colorful and suggestive packaging, we must now spend extra time and energy standing in store aisles looking at ingredient lists and labels. This all makes plant-based eating that much more challenging and frustrating. What are you supposed to eat? Here's a good example of this. I recently saw food manufacturer Nestle announce 2 new Toll House products hitting the market soon. Plant-based dark chocolate chip morsels and semi-sweet chocolate chip morsels. These are all purported to be made with 100% real chocolate with no artificial ingredients or preservatives. At the time of this recording, there was no information about the actual ingredients used in these products, but I have a sneaky suspicion that it will not be all that different from the Nestle Toll House allergen-free semi-sweet morsels product they already have on the market. This is already a dairy-free, gluten-free, vegan option using 100% real chocolate, cocoa butter, and cane sugar. Yet the new packaging with the words plant-based in large, bold white font on a green background will definitely draw customers looking for plant-based products. I also remember seeing in the supermarket recently a new product called plant-based tortillas in bold letters being sold. But when I compared the back of the package, the ingredients list and nutrient facts label with the whole wheat tortillas product from the same brand, it wasn't necessarily healthier. So what should you eat on a plant-based diet? Just go with these products labeled plant-based? What really are the best plant-based foods to eat for health? Let's find out. First, let's talk about what not to eat. Animal-based protein foods such as red meats, poultry, eggs, and dairy are significant sources of saturated fat and cholesterol and contribute to increased risk of chronic diseases like cancer, heart disease, and diabetes. So it's best to move away from them if you would like the most optimal health. What about commercial plant-based products? Well, food manufacturers are certainly jumping on the plant-based bandwagon now because it sells. So I'm not surprised to see the term plant-based showing up on so many product packages. But just because a product is labeled vegan or plant-based doesn't mean it is necessarily healthier. That's because even if that product doesn't contain dairy milk, cream, butter, or lard as part of the ingredients, it could still be loaded with sugar, oils, and unhealthy fats like trans fats or tropical oils like coconut oils or palm oil, which have a high saturated fat content. And think about it. Ultra-processed, commercially produced foods like pastries, cookies, cakes, desserts, and certain dairy-free or meat substitutes can technically be vegan, right? Because they don't contain any animal-based ingredients, but they may be high in calories and low in nutrients. Many of these foods also still contain relatively large amounts of refined sugars, salt, oils, and white flour, which would negatively impact our health. That's why it's so important to look at labels and ingredients on a package before buying that item. Instead of spending lots of time and effort looking at nutrient facts and ingredient lists on packaging, though, here's an easier way to do it. Try your best to stick to unprocessed or minimally processed whole plant-based foods. This means buying plant-based foods that come in as natural a state as possible. This will save you much time and energy and headache on your next grocery shop. So here are the top 7 plant-based foods to focus on and nourish your body with. Number 1 at the top of this list are green leafy vegetables. Green leafy vegetables are a powerhouse of fiber, vitamins, minerals, anti-cancer fighting compounds, and other beneficial phytonutrients. Regular daily intake of green leafy vegetables can also slow mental decline as we age. Some examples of leafy greens are watercress, kale, bok choy, arugula, collard greens, and spinach. Number 2. Next are beans. There are a wide variety of beans in the plant-based world, of different sizes, shapes, tastes, and cooking times. These include black beans, mung beans, kidney beans, chickpeas, also known as garbanzo beans, soybeans, and white navy beans. Nutritionally, beans are packed with protein, fiber, and many other nutrients, including bioactive compounds called polyphenols, which have strong antioxidant properties. Third are whole grains. Epidemiological studies consistently show that whole grain consumption is associated with a lower risk of chronic diseases like heart disease, type 2 diabetes, gastrointestinal disorders, and certain types of cancer. Some examples of whole grains are brown rice, buckwheat groats, quinoa, steel-cut oats, or rolled oats. It is best to choose these over highly processed refined grains like white pasta, white bread, and white rice. Number 4. Lentils. Lentils are part of the legume family with beans and are rich sources of protein, fiber, iron, and zinc. Lentils come in many different colors such as red or orange lentils, green lentils, brown lentils, and black lentils. Number 5. Berries. Although eating a variety of fruits regularly is extremely beneficial to our bodies, berries are especially so. That's because along with vitamins, minerals, water, and fiber, berries are also rich in a variety of bioactive compounds, such as phenolic compounds like flavonoids and organic acids. These bioactive compounds have been associated with antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects, protecting against chronic diseases such as cardiovascular disease, cancer, Alzheimer's, and other disorders. Number 6. Other vegetables. Besides green leafy vegetables, let's not forget about other vegetables which come in a wide variety of colors and nutrients, such as broccoli, bell peppers, beets, eggplant, and winter squashes. It is important to eat a variety regularly to help you meet your fiber goals and ensure optimal health and keep you weight stable. And number 7, seeds, especially chia seeds and ground flax seeds. These are not only packed with protein and fiber, but are also rich sources of omega-3 fatty acids. They're easy to add into baked goods, onto oatmeal, into smoothies, or to make dressings with. So here are the key takeaways from today's episode. First, just because a food or product doesn't contain meat or other animal-based products does not mean it is necessarily healthier to eat. Second, if you want to use some of the commercially processed vegan or plant-based products, look at labels and ingredient lists carefully to choose the best options and treat them as transition foods to help you as you work towards a plant-powered, whole food plant-based diet. Third, we also looked at the top 7 plant-based foods to nourish your body with if you want the most health transformation. These are green leafy vegetables, beans, whole grains, lentils, berries, other vegetables, and seeds. Now here's an action step you can take. Pick one of these healthful plant-based categories and choose a new whole food plant-based food to try this week, one that you may have seen but never tried before. Then come to my Beginners for Plant-Based Diet Success Facebook group community to share about your experience trying out this new whole plant-based food. Just go to bit.ly/PB Diet Success. That's bit.ly/PB Diet Success as one word. Hi, friend. If you're sitting there listening to this and thinking, all this sounds great, but how do I actually cook and turn these whole foods into tasty meals and move into a different eating pattern and lifestyle? Maybe you hardly spend time in the kitchen right now and only know how to boil vegetables and can't even tell one kind of beans from another. If that's where you are, let me show you a simple, effective way to move from your current meat and potatoes lifestyle to a health-transforming plant-powered one. Through a specially designed method of transition that I've developed for my online plant-powered life transformation course and private coaching packages, you'll be able to make a smooth, enjoyable, and streamlined transition to plant-based eating without the transition challenges that I see many go through. Reach out to me at healthnow@plantnourish.com or apply for a free rapid health transformation call using the link in the show notes. I want to connect with you and see how and whether I can support you to help you meet your health and weight goals. Thank you for listening to the Plant-Based Eating Made Easy podcast. If this podcast has helped you, please rate and leave a written review on the Apple Podcast app or iTunes to let me know. Nothing will lift me up more than to read your review and see how this podcast has made a difference in your life. I also pick reviews to read on this show, so your review could be one of them. Come connect with me in my free Facebook community group, Beginners for Plant-Based Diet Success. Just go to bit.ly/PB Diet Success. That's bit.ly/PB Diet Success. You can also subscribe and follow this podcast to get notified when a new episode goes live. Signing off now, this is Anna, and I wish you the best health always.